Hey guys, it's Dan here from Your Guitar Academy, and in this lesson we're going to be going through Killing Floor by Howlin Wolf, and it's an incredible track. It sounds a little something like this. Now, just before we get started, please do like and subscribe to the page. It massively helps us out when you do hit that subscribe button and that like button, as well as comment. Remember, myself and the whole team are here to help you out with your guitar playing. So if you've got any questions about the thing that we're learning here or anything else, please do let us know below, as well as just general feedback is always massively appreciated. Finally, if you do love learning the blues and you want to go into more depth with your blues playing, then please head on over to the website. We'll put the link below and in this video, where we're currently producing brand new blues courses. So it's going to be absolutely awesome. So I'm imagining by the time someone watches this video in the future, all of them will be there, looking amazing, ready to take absolutely free. Okay, so let's get started by looking at the intro part. So the intro part sounds like this. Okay, so we've got loads going on in that intro part, and essentially this track is based around the key of A blues. Okay, so what that means is we're using a 1-4-5 progression, which is the A, the D, and the E dominant seventh chords or major chords at its most basic level that we're using throughout this track. Okay, so without even the dominant, because actually a lot of this track does use major chord influenced stuff. So just simply an A major, a D major, and an E major. It's the basic understanding here of what we need. And this intro is essentially like the turnaround, okay? So we're going from the E, which is the 5 chord, to the 4 chord, and then to the 1 chord. And then finally turning it around on the E7. Okay? So the way we're fretting this is just using a kind of E-shaped triad. Okay, so what I want you to do is bring your finger right up here. So 12th fret is being barred, okay, by the first finger. Then my second finger is here on the 13th fret of the G string, and third finger on the 14th fret of the D string. We've got nothing to do with the low E and A strings, and we are hitting that high E string. Now we don't have to do that high E string, so if that's awkward for you, then just do the triad, but I think I can hear it there in the track when it's being played. And then we're adding this little finger to it. So we kind of start by hitting that triad, and then we add the little finger, which brings in the dominant 7. So that's the flattened 7th of the chord, and makes it sound like an E7 now rather than just an E major. Okay, and we're essentially going. Okay, and then without getting into the rhythm yet, we're dropping that down to D. So exactly the same shape down 2 frets. And doing the same movement, so triad to the dominant 7th, and then dropping it down all the way to A, so down to the 5th fret area, and doing the same movement again. Okay, so without any rhythm, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, I'll do it one more time. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then we go to this E dominant 7th chord. So I'm just going to fret the second finger, first finger, and third finger on the chord. Okay, so that's root, flat, root, major 3rd, and flat 7. Just those 3 notes, and we're just going to hit all downstrokes staccato style. So that means rather than this, we're gonna make sure that each time you've played the chord, you release it in between to get that staccato vibe. Okay, so if we put that together and add some rhythm, it starts to sound like this. Okay. So let's just look at that right hand rhythm pattern, okay? And the first thing I want to say here is that the rhythm doesn't have to be exact. You can hear throughout this track the rhythms are changing and the exact rhythm patterns. It's just not something you necessarily deal with when learning proper blues stuff, okay? You just need to have the groove. You need to just be on that groove, okay? So that means that sometimes you might drop a few beats, sometimes you might add a few more strums, sometimes you might drop out a whole load of strums. Whatever it is, as long as you've got the main groove. So that's kind of what I'm going to show you here, the main groove, okay? Now we're dealing with 16th note strumming, okay? And we're just going to talk in down ups to start with, okay? So I want you to go like this, down, down. So that's the difference between the triad and the dominant 7th bit. It's going to be down, down. And then after that, we're going to do it up and then continue the strumming. So down, down, up, up. Okay, so we go up, 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 down, up. And on that very last up, I'm going to actually get rid of that little finger. Okay, so let's just do that really slowly. So we got down, down, up, 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 down, up. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, now if you head on over to the website, I will have that rhythm pattern written out for you so you can see that in a little bit more detail. But that is the basic pattern we're going to be working with. Okay, now remember that in between all the the empty hits, I'm still moving that right hand. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. That's absolutely crucial for this. So I'm not going like this. Okay, I'm going like this. And that constant movement is what's going to allow you to kind of embellish this, as you go through it, okay? But it has to be constant. You do exactly the same pattern then on the D, and then the same pattern on the A. Okay? Now as you get more confident with it, you can start making it a bit choppier like this. And all that is just in between, the same rhythm pattern with the right hand, but in between the actual hits, I'm letting the actual chord release. Okay, you can hear that chord is coming off, but that's not something I would sit down and work at too hard. I'd get the exact rhythm with the exact chords as I've shown you here, and then start to kind of bring those ideas as they feel more natural, okay? So the whole intro up to that point is this. Okay, and in terms of your count, remember when you go to the E, you're just starting just after the bar. So you've got 1 E and 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and 2, 3 and 4 and. Okay, so it's 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, all downstrokes, all staccato style. Okay, so we're now going to go through the main section, okay? And there's 3 different parts we're going to go through. We're going to start with this part. 3, 4. And then it goes like this. 4. And then we're going to go 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Like this, okay? Now, when you do listen to the track, there's a whole bunch of guitarists playing on this, fantastic, amazing guitar players. So it's hard to make out exactly, but we definitely got a kind of a lower sound and then some higher harmonies. So we're just kind of putting this together in a more modern day environment. And something that's more manageable for you guys who are maybe just starting to get into the blues or really just trying to just get this track to a performable level, okay? So really what we're doing is almost this kind of Steve Cropper style kind of harmonies like that, okay? So really we're starting on the A. And I'm just hitting that A triad again, but just the triad now, not the dominant chord, just the triad. I'm just going to hit that twice. 2, 3. And then I'm going to do this little harmony. Okay? We've got this very clear high to low sound. So that's what we're trying to achieve here with a little melody in between. And the melody are these notes. So we've got the second finger on the 7th fret of the A string and your first finger on the 6th fret of the G string. Then you drop that shape down 2. Okay, and notice here, we're only playing those 2 strings. So I'm going to block off the rest of the strings and then hit a low A. So that essentially we go from a higher A sound to a lower A sound. And this is the means of getting there. Okay. In terms of counting, that is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We then move up to the D and do the same thing, but now up to D. So we literally transpose the whole part into D. So D's up here on the 10th fret. Again, it's that triad shape of D. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing. Okay, so use the same harmony idea. This time it's 12th fret and 11th fret on the same strings. Then drop it down 2 frets, and then same thing you would do to play the open A, but now we're doing it as a D. Okay, so this is now a D. Imagining if you've done this, but we're just doing that. Okay, so we go 2 and 3 and. Okay, and on the D we only go around that part once. Okay, and then we come back to the A. Do the same thing again. Okay, and do that part once. So we've got the A twice, the D once, and the A once. Okay, and then for this particular part, we're just going to hit the stabs when we go to the E and the D chord. So the 5 chord to the 4 chord. We're just going to do that E7 chord again that we did in the intro. Hit it twice. 2, 3, 4. Drop that shape down to a D7. 2, 3, 4. And then come back to that A chord. And then when we hit the A this time round, we're going to quickly jump to the E, just simply the 7th fret of the E, and hit that for the turnaround. Okay, so it'll be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so let's just do that whole part together nice and slowly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and up to the D now. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and back to the A. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and the stabs on the E. 7, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so that's your first layer. Okay, and if I was to play this live or to jam this along in my bedroom or whatever, I'd probably generally stick to that because that's just like the chunkiest groove and it just works beautifully with the song. Now then on top of that we've got the kind of higher harmony, and I think it's being played by maybe some kind of brass instruments, more like a trumpet and a sax or something like that, but it's worth getting it in here, and it's something that Steve Cropper would do perhaps, again coming back to that kind of soul man kind of vibe. Okay, so this part it reflects exactly what you're doing in the part I just showed you, but we're doing it higher, so it's like this. Okay, and then up to the D, back to the A. And in this part, we're also going to go like this. Okay, that part from the intro comes right back in here in this second guitar part. Okay, so essentially what we're doing is we're starting here. And this is just the D shape, so cage chord. Okay, so if you want to learn more about cage chords, I've got the course below for you to visit. It's absolutely free. I'll also put it in the link in the video. Absolutely free, and it really just helps you nail these cage chords. So we're doing this kind of D shape here, and it's an A major chord, but just up here. Okay, so I've got my first finger and second finger on the 9th fret of the G and the E string, and my third finger is in between that, as if I was playing a D major chord shape, but up here for A. So that's my kickoff. A, same rhythms as before. And then we're going to go through our little harmony again. And this time the harmony is just... So we're just going to simply take 2 fingers, okay? G and E string on the 9th fret, then down 2 frets, and then finishing up on the high version of this bar chord, okay? So just simply barring the 5th fret on the B and the E string, and 6th fret on the G string. Okay, now, once we've done that, we repeat it twice. 2, 3, 4. Okay, really great part. Notice with this, I'm being a bit more specific with my strumming. I'm only hitting those top 3 or 4 strings, so I don't get too much chunky sound. The other guitar's taking care of the chunky sound. And then I transpose that to D, so all the way up here. So I'm up on the 12th, 13th, 14th fret for the D, and it's exactly the same part transposed. So you're basically going from that D major to that D major using this harmony in between. Okay, but that one you only do once, then you go back to the A. Okay, so up to that point, we've got this. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 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 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. Then literally copy and paste the intro into this section. Now, as I said, I might adding a few more strums here and there, just because now it's more part of the band. I'm kind of just getting a bit more excited. But you can do the exact, that's what I did at the intro, so. Okay, so you've got that as your second part, okay, which you can just jump in. So obviously if you don't have a looper, then just maybe on the second verse jump to doing that. On the first verse do the previous one. And the other part that I want to talk about is that kind of that kind of bass part that is played on the guitar, which is this. Okay, so let me just kind of walk you through this. Basically what we're doing is kind of like a dominant 7th arpeggio-ish, okay? But we're adding the 6th in there. It's a typical, which I'm sure you would have heard before as you kind of play through various tracks or listen to tracks. But basically it's just kind of what we do with the right hand here, which makes it a bit special. So the notes are the A, then the major 3rd, which is the 4th fret of the A string, then the 5th, which is the 7th fret of the A string, so root 3rd, 5th in a theoretical talk. Then we've got the 6th, the major 6th, okay, which is on the 4th fret of the D string, and then the flat 7, which is from that dominant chord, of course, which is on the 5th fret of the string. So you get those notes. Now it's the way you then play them. So basically, it's got a little bit of a groove to it, okay? And we're doing a lot of right hand picking, okay? So a lot of down up 16th note styles. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and. To keep it really simple, I would do that groove to start with before you get into all the ghost notes and kind of making it really sing. Just start with this. So we get down, down, up, and think of this as like a strumming pattern, okay? With your right hand, you're just the same as you would do with your strumming. You're doing smaller versions, but still constant down, up movements. So we get down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, because those two just go together like that. Okay, so that's the down, down, up bit. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4 and 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4 and. Okay, and you'll repeat that twice. So we do kind of 2 bars worth of that. And remember that as you get more confident with that, you can start adding a bit more kind of palm muting, ghost notes. Notice that I'm palm muting with this side, this part of the hand, so that I'm getting a bit more. And of course, just again, as you get more confident with it, you can kind of bring notes out, bring notes in. So you might want to start it like. You know, you can get a bit more creative with it, but that's kind of your basis. And then you follow the chords. So when you go up to the D chord, okay, you would play exactly the same thing, but everything down 1 string. So from the D, up the 3rd, the 5th, the 6th, the flat 7, and then drop it back down to the A. And then when you go to the E, you move everything up to the 7th fret of the A string and repeat the same pattern. You're just going to do 1 time round now. To the D, and to the A. No matter what, every time we get to that end of turnaround, so when everything goes to the E, everyone, the whole band go there. They really accent that part of the track, okay? So there's all of our different parts. And what I want to just try and do is just kind of layer the 3 up so you can hear them working together. So, we're going to come back and layer up the last 2 parts now, okay? But let's just let it go around. We should be able to hear that structure still here. So that's all the 1 chord, now the 4 chord. Back to the 1 chord. Then we go over to the 5 chord, which is the E7, 4 chord, which is D7, and now we're on our turnaround. So let's get ready to add in our layered part. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then up to the D. Back to the 1 chord. And then we hit the 5 chord, 4 chord, and then we go. And the high part. Now we're on the third layer. Up to the D. And then down to the A again. Then we're going to go and there we have it, and then it's yours to there we have it. There we have it. I really hope you managed to get something out of that lesson, whether it's just a better understanding of a 12-bar blues. Hopefully you can play this whole song and you can see how different guitarists can layer up different parts over the track. So do enjoy this, guys. If you have enjoyed watching the lesson, then please give the lesson a like. Please comment, let us know how you got on and what you might like to see in the future, as well as please subscribe. Every subscriber makes a massive difference to us and in terms of growing our channel and continuing to deliver this wonderful content. So enjoy that, and I'll speak to you again soon.